the Point. About the only link that connected this locality with Revolutionary history was Fort La Presentation, located on the west side of the Oswegatchie River at its mouth. Such a statement is heard frequently around Ogdensburg. Hardly ever does one mention Fort Oswegatchie, which was at the same site for more than 35 years. Desiring to mark the site of Fort La Presentation before memory of it faded and vanished, the members of Sweetcattsea Chapter Daughters of the American Revolution decided to erect a monument on the spot. Accordingly, they had Thomas B. Tate, Ogdensburg city engineer, show them where it was. He remembered the fort, which as a boy he had visited, and his recollections of it were still vivid at the age of 84 in October 1898. He reported to the chapter, "The location of the old garrison on the southwest side of the Oswegatchie River at the city of Ogdensburg was the now northwest part of Commerce Street, where intersected by Perry Street, and on Commerce Street southeasterly from said intersection." The monument was placed across the roadway from the present home of Thomas J. Duffy in Commerce Street. The site of the monument was owned partly by the city of Ogdensburg and partly by the Rome, Watertown, and Ogdensburg Railroad Company. Both parties not only contributed the necessary 20-foot square plot of land, but also volunteered to maintain and preserve the monument and the plot. Superintendent E.G. Russell of the R.W.&O. line, during a visit to Ogdensburg, assisted in selecting the site for the monument, a slight eminence of ground where the old garrison had been located. Sweetcattsea Chapter undertook a public fund drive for the project, of which on February 22, 1899, the St. Lawrence Republican said, "It will stimulate a desire for such knowledge among our people and challenge the attention of strangers who pass up and down the great river St. Lawrence and who cross the border here." No one was more pleased than Thomas B. Tate, who at the age of 10 had assisted his father, Robert Tate, surveyor, in the first survey of Ogdensburg in 1824. T.B. Tate became a civil engineer, surveyor, and builder, and a lieutenant colonel of the 153rd New York Regiment of Militia. During the epidemic of Asiatic cholera in the summer of 1832, the quarantine ground for the town of Oswegatchie was on the Point, opposite the village of Ogdensburg. The Rome, Watertown, and Ogdensburg Railroad was completed and placed in operation August 4, 1862, with a passenger depot, freight house, roundhouse, and yards on the Point. The New York Central took over March 14, 1891. Penn Central carried freight from 1963 to 1973. Passenger service ended May 21, 1961, when the last bowliner left Ogdensburg. An international railroad car ferry operated between Prescott and the Point at Ogdensburg for more than 32 years. The Canadian Pacific Car and Passenger Transfer Company Limited of Prescott was incorporated March 17, 1888. Was the connecting link across the St. Lawrence River between the Canadian Pacific Railway at Prescott and successively the R.W.&O., the New York Central, and the Penn Central at Ogdensburg. Its diesel-electric tug, the Prescottant, and car float, the Ogdensburg, had a carrying capacity of 17 loaded railroad cars. The loading pier at the Point was hit by lightning and burned September 25, 1970. It was not replaced. In the 1950s, a city dump was operated near the foot of Albany Avenue, burning many times with a stench carrying for blocks. In autumn, particularly, rats overran the Point, occasionally resembling a dark sea of grass moving in the wind. The old Common Council eventually closed the dump and hired exterminators to kill the rats. The old lighthouse, after more than 125 years of service, flashed its last guiding beam.